Welcome to the ProLife Team podcast. I am Jacob Barr. I'm here with Victor, Cindy, and David, and we're going to talk about the 1,000 plates that will be on the road by the end of the year with the Choose Life tag. And right now they're at 660, but we're going to talk about the journey they have taken to get to where they are today and where they need to get to by the end of the year for these plates to stay on the road. Cindy and David, would you introduce yourselves as if you were talking to pro-life friends in Idaho and possibly beyond Idaho?
So my name is Cindy Lange, and I started Choose Life Idaho along with my husband, David Lange. We are a very small nonprofit here in Idaho. We're a 501c3 organization, and we formed with the specific purpose of bringing the Choose Life Idaho license plate to Idaho. Idaho didn't have a Choose Life license plate. There were 32 other states that already had them, and we felt that we needed a plate in Idaho.
I'm David Lange, and I would, to add on to what Cindy said, I would say that we've been told by the folks at the National Choose Life America that we were from start to finish, we were the fastest state to get there, to get it to where it's actually on the road. So I think that you can see in the passion that Cindy has and I have that, we're in this, we're very excited about this, and we hope that we get some other people excited about it as well.
Absolutely.
I want to start by asking you guys, just tell us a little bit about yourselves. How did you guys start to get involved in Choose Life? How did that kind of start out?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I decided to purchase a Choose Life license plate frame probably about 12 years ago, and was probably the only person in Idaho that had a Choose Life America frame on my car. There wasn't an option in Idaho to get a Choose Life license plate. But being a busy mother and working, there was not something that I had time to take on as a challenge. And fast forward several years later, I'm on the email list from Choose Life America, and I get an email one morning before work, and it was basically a plea from the president of Choose Life America, Russ Ammerlin, and he said that he was in Montana. He'd be willing to drive over into Idaho if there's anybody in Idaho that would like to talk about starting a Choose Life plate in Idaho. And at that time, my children had moved out of the house. I had free time, and I just replied back, well, maybe I can help. And it all started like that. And I think that the Choose Life plate, it just brings such a positive, wonderful message to our community. It was something that I felt really passionate about doing.
My involvement's by default, by being her husband. But it is a passion of mine as well. Absolutely, we saw a need. What surprised me was that Idaho didn't know, as conservative as we are, and as pro-life as we are, we didn't already have a Choose Life plate here. So after doing some more research, come to find out that they made overtures in the past. They just couldn't find someone that really had the passion for it. So if you don't have passion for it, it's a long haul, right? So they found the right person with Cindy.
Right. So Cindy, you mentioned that you emailed him saying you wanted to get involved, but at that time, you're probably thinking like, I'm not gonna lead this whole thing. So how did you go from being a little bit involved to leading the whole charge there?
Well, he did come to Idaho, and we met, and I decided to take it to my group at church. I volunteer at church, and there were 4 other people that decided that they would join in, and we formed a board. I recruited my husband, and we just took it step by step. We formed a nonprofit. We had to get 501c3 status with the IRS. We formed a corporation and went through all of the legal process of that we had to do before we could even get a legislature on board. So then fast forward to 2019, we had a volunteer who moved here from North Carolina, saw that we were working on the license plate, and he happened to have some contacts with some senators and representatives, and he got them on board to support the bill. The community really got behind it. We had almost 1,000 signatures on our petition, and the bill passed within just really a few months. And in 2020, it passed, and we had to be a nonprofit for 2 years before we could have the plates on the road. So that's why there was a little bit of a lag, and they weren't available until January this year.
Yeah. Well, that's great. That's great. So you guys have done a lot to get to this point, which is a testament to all your hard work. One thing I was interested in knowing is, how come I looked at the Choose Life National website? How come it doesn't state like Idaho as like basically having these license plates? It's almost like a pending stage. I was kind of confused about that.
Yes, I noticed that this morning, and I contacted Russ, and he's going to be changing that.
Okay,
He had a misunderstanding. We contacted him in August because we were looking for some grant money for some advertising, and our plate had already been available and it was green on the map. But he thought that I was saying that we had to have 1,000 on the road before the program was active for pre-sales. So he's fixing that. And there's a link from that website to our website, and our website's accurate.
Great. So you guys are completely active at this point.
Yes.
That's great for people to know that they can buy the license plate right now and get that and support you guys.
Yes. So as of this morning, we have 660 on the road. We're updating our website every day, so you can check the progress. Just go to purchase a plate, and hopefully we'll get to our goal. We need 1,000 before the end of the year, or the program will be inactive. And the people who have a license plate, they'll be able to keep that for probably 10 years when the state requires them to change their plate. And then at that time, there would not be any more Choose Life plates on the road. So it's really important that we get 1,000. Otherwise, the program will go away. And the pregnancy resources are going to really miss out on some funding opportunities. When we hit our goal this year, that's 22,000 for pregnancy resource centers. And the number is going to be actually a little higher, because we get $22 for each plate, but we also get $12 for each renewal. And when people go in and they renew their license plate for 2 years, then we're getting that extra $12 as well.
Yeah.
So David and the board and we strongly believe that 100% of the funds that we receive from the sale of the plates will go to benefit pregnancy resource centers. So we're going to do that. Everything that we've done with the nonprofit has been through donations or has been self-funded. And it's really a great opportunity for pregnancy resource centers to help their funding.
Right.
So I have a question.
So you said 20. Go ahead.
So I was wondering, how do you pick which pregnancy clinics to benefit or to fund with those, with the money coming in?
Well, we thought about looking at how many plates are in each county and perhaps funding more dollars to the counties with more plates. For the initial checks that went out, we decided to equally spread it amongst everybody who sent in an application. So we did our due diligence on the applications. We made sure that these pregnancy resource centers do not refer for abortions. And everybody got almost $900 in August that applied. And we didn't turn anyone down.
Awesome.
That's great. So I'm kind of interested more about the law. Can you guys tell me just what do you guys think about the Idaho law? Do you know why it was passed? this bill basically stating that if you don't have 1,000 license plates, specialty license plates by the end of the year, that the license plate will be canceled. What is the reason for that? Would you
Yeah,
guys know?
good question. Because when we first started this, the law was 250 plates the first year. So that was our goal. And then literally within a week after our bill getting passed, a new bill passed stating that you have to have that $1,000 minimum the first year out. Otherwise, it'll be discontinued. My feeling is from those that I've talked to, generally speaking, there's so many specialty plates in Idaho. There's over 70, and it had been it's been bothersome for some of these legislators over the years, I guess, getting these special interest groups, contacting them, wanting their own plate. So I think they just got tired of it. That's basically what I've heard. And really the executive or the senators that are the leadership team really does not want specialty plates at all. So until that person is out of office, I don't think you'll see any more specialty plates.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I looked up, basically, if I understand it, I did some research. Idaho, they made a law, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that extended the license plate. Usually you have to have a new license plate every 7 years. But I think it was, I can't remember if it's 2019 or 2020, stating that they'll extend it 3 more years. So you don't have to get a license plate. And so I was like, man, that makes it a lot harder for you guys, especially, specialty license plate, because then a lot of people are thinking, well, I don't need one for another 3 years. Is that correct? Or I don't want to make this up, but that's kind of what I found. But
I thought you could only renew one for 2 years, but it's every 10 years that they require you to get a new actual metal plate.
Yeah.
So they'll send you a new one in the mail. And so in 10 years, if we don't meet our goal, then they'll have to get a new plate within 10 years. I think that's what that means. You can't, one thing that's important that I think a lot of people don't realize is that you can switch your license plate at any time. You don't have to wait until your registration is due. They will, the math, how they calculate it, I think they prorate what you've already paid for, and then you renew for the next year. There's a couple different ways that you can do it, because you can renew your plates for 2 years at a time. But most importantly, you can go into the DMV at any time, even if you've just renewed your license plate last week, and you can switch, pay the extra $35. They'll tag on a couple extra fees to mail it to you, and they'll charge you $10 for the metal. And so I think it's worth it. I think it's a small price to pay to have that message out there. I think we have a little granddaughter who's now 5, or she's going to be 5 very soon. But I think about her and her friends soon, when they're driving in another 11, 12 years. What do we want them to see when they're in a car with their friends and somebody's in a crisis? One of their friends is pregnant. We want them to see these license plates everywhere on the road. We want it to be a visible sign that this community supports life, that we don't want anybody to ever be afraid to tell another person that they're in a situation that they don't know what to do with. I think fear drives people into clinics such as Planned Parenthood. And if we can eliminate that fear through a simple little message on a license plate, I think we'll save a lot of lives.
Yeah. And like you said, so not only does it raise money, but raising awareness, like you mentioned. And it's kind of cool when you see someone else with that license plate as you're driving around. It kind of is encouraging. Is that your experience?
It's very encouraging. And I just got news last evening that the St. Vincent de Paul trucks in one of the counties here in Idaho, in Canyon County, purchased Choose Life plates. And
Cool.
so that's 5 new plates that we have on the
Wow.
road. So it's on my to-do list to call Ada County, which I think has more than 5 trucks, and hopefully we can get them on the road. Trucks all throughout Idaho with St. Vincent de Paul on them. That would be awesome if we could get them on a Choose Life plate. And we have mobile units for ultrasound in Idaho. And I don't know if they have a Choose Life license plate on them yet, but wouldn't that be awesome to see a mobile unit in your community and have that Choose Life license plate on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing too, Victor, to add on to this, but if you think about it, and I did this little exercise not long ago. I was riding to the office and I just counted how many times I stopped at a stoplight or a stop sign. And, just going to the office, it was 10 times, right? So we're wired as human beings to notice things that are out of the ordinary. So I got to thinking to myself, the folks that are behind me looking through their windshield, they're likely seeing as something they've never seen, right? A Choose Life Idaho plate. They're not used to seeing that. And if you just think about 1,000 plates, and if everyone has the sort of the same experience that I do going to work, that's 10,000 impressions, right? A day, just for someone going to work, for 1,000 people driving. And you multiply that over the course of a year, that's significant. These are mobile billboards that's spreading a very good message. So that's another way to look at this. The money's great, and it's all 100% going towards the pregnancy resource centers, but just the fact that we can get out there with this message on so many cars is also kind of exciting.
Right. Yeah, that's an excellent point. And going back to the bill, that's why I feel like this is such an urgent situation, and we want to get your message out, because from the law basically says that if it's not by the end of the year, it's not ever happening, because they don't want to allow any future specialty license plates, right? So you can't just like, oh, let's try again next year. There's no opportunity for that. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And not only that, but just to give you an idea of a few obstacles we've had year to date, we found out not that long ago, maybe 3-4 months ago, that the plates weren't even being posted in the DMVs. So if you go into a DMV here in Idaho, some of the DMVs have the specialty plates on the back wall, right? And they're all there so that you can see them visually. However, ours weren't, which was interesting. And we found out later on that it's the office managers at these DMVs that are really the ones that make that decision whether or not they want to have a plate on the wall or not. So we actually did an exercise, or Cindy did, went out, visited some DMVs here. Not a one of them had the plate on the back wall. The other interesting thing is we got word from email, and actually spoke to somebody who said they went into a DMV getting the plate and they were told they weren't available. Well, they've been available since the beginning of the year. So that is another thing I want to get out there. They're out there, regardless of what anyone's telling you. They are available and have been made available. It's just that perhaps there's just some obstacles we need to overcome. But from what I understand now, the message has been sent out to the DMV. They would really appreciate it if they posted them on the wall.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. And it does make sense, because if they're trying to end the specialty license plates, they're clearly trying to do this by requiring the 1,000. And also adding to that, I'm surprised to hear that about the plates that they won't sometimes show them, in the offices, but also online. Like, you'd think they would give an option to purchase online. And when I looked online and I checked the Choose Life one, it says it's not available, right? And that there again, I'm like, why are they writing this? Because that's going to cause people to think that the license plate's not available when it is.
That's new, because I did go online and check, And if you go to personalizing a license plate, it used to be available.
Yeah.
So that's a new obstacle that we're going to have to look into. And what a shame. I think it's such a wonderful message, and I think it's a message that will build the community. I think it will unite people. It's something that every God-loving person can get behind, and even if you're not a believer in God, many people believe it's not okay to kill a child in the womb. So I think it can be something that can unite the community. I don't think it should be something that's political.
Yeah. And as far as going to the DMV, I'm sure a lot of listeners, like there's that impediment, like, I don't want to go to the DMV. It has a reputation, right? But do you think that's kind of a fear that people are going to be stuck there all day? That's not necessarily true. Like, you know, they could make an appointment maybe and streamline the process. What would you encourage those people?
I would encourage them to go during the week. Monday is
Okay.
their busiest day, but if you go on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, they're not very crowded. It's not like getting your driver's license where you have to go to just one location in all of Ada County, and there's hundreds of people waiting in line. They have 3 offices in Ada County. They're listed on the website. If you go to my purchase a plate link on chooselifeidaho.org, there's a link there that'll take you to where you can find the DMV locations. But I have heard from people that they have found it very easy to go in. Every time I've gone in to renew my registration for my license plate, it's been a really easy process. And I also have some contacts with the Idaho Transportation Department that if anybody has an issue with somebody saying they're not available, that we'll make sure that they get the license plate that they deserve.
Yeah, that's a good point. Go during the week when it's less busy. I thought of like maybe to just, you know, bring a friend or something. Do it together. You know, maybe with a couple people would be fun, or you know, to encourage each other to do that. I think would be great.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. If everybody brings a friend, that's going to make it a lot easier to get 1,000 plates.
And as of today, it looks like you need 340 more plates by the end of the year.
Yes.
And so it feels like the call to action for people in Idaho is to update their license plate, regardless of it maybe not being expired and ready to be renewed. But the call to action is to update your plates on all of your vehicles, because we need to reach 340. Otherwise, this opportunity won't be there the following year.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is really the big push right now. If we can get over the 1,000, I do believe after this year it's easy from thereafter, because the number goes down. Not only that, there's going to be less specialty plates to choose from because others are going to fall out. I will say this: yes, we need. If there are people out there that kind of fall in love with the current license plate they have, whether it's a number or whether it's some sort of specialty plate, if they don't want to get a plate but they believe in this, find somebody or go talk to somebody you know. Everybody knows somebody that they think would fit or would appreciate something like this. Just let them know that it's available, and let them know that this thing needs to happen this year. They need to go get it. Otherwise, it may be gone next year.
Yeah.
And another thing that people can do, I have a notice on our website at chooselifeidaho.org, and it's in the format of a picture. It can easily be copied. It's titled "Be a Messenger of Hope," and that can be reproduced in any bulletin, any online newsletter. It can be just emailed to friends with a link to our website, just to let people know, hey, there's a ProLife license plate that's out there. And if we can get people to email their friends and get on email lists for churches and maybe there's a slideshow before a church in the morning, and they can put our slide up there. And if you need any information, you can email me at info@chooselifeidaho.org, and I'd be happy to help produce something that you can share. But we really need to get the word out. There has not been any publicity on the plate at all. We felt that that was a good thing when it was going through the legislature, because we didn't have any challenges legally. And but now it is a big thing, and people are not promoting it. People just, they don't know about it. So we need the public, we need the communities to really join together and not just go out and buy a plate for themselves, but tell a friend, get the word out.
So it sounds like if a pastor in Idaho would be willing to let you have that slide and maybe also invite you to their church on a Sunday morning to be at a table or a set of tables after the church service, that would be a really good way to share this positive message and opportunity to support pregnancy clinics who are essentially saving lives in Idaho. And so, yeah, if a pastor is interested, emailing Cindy and inviting Cindy to be, at the, maybe at a table or a set of tables to share and talk and answer questions and help people identify that this is, understand what kind of long-term support opportunity this is for pregnancy clinics. And for pregnancy clinics, this is a beautiful idea to have a passive income where they're being supported by the work that David and Cindy are spearheading, along with all of these local Idaho drivers supporting and making it into a very, supportive thing for pregnancy clinics who are benefiting and able to then help the community.
Yes, I'd be happy to speak. I'd be happy to have a table after services. And one thing that we didn't mention, on our website, there's a page called resources, and there's 3 important things on that page. At the very top, there's a wonderful video that's put out by the Endowment for Human Development. And it's about a 5-minute video, and it shows from conception, the full development of a tiny baby in the womb. It's a beautiful video, and it can be shared with family and friends. I think it's a wonderful way to teach people about life. There's also a link on there for abortion pill reversal. And if you click on that link, it gives you some good information on if a woman has taken an abortion pill and has changed their mind, it can be reversed. And there's also all the pregnancy resource centers in Idaho listed. And I'm happy to tailor that message to any of those resource centers if they want to change it. If they want to put on a link to a specific spot, just let me know, send me an email. And I'd love for our website to be a gathering place for women who need help. And then they can be led to the pregnancy resource centers in Idaho that are benefiting from the plate so that we can save babies.
That's good.
Yeah, that's great. And I think it's really important for the directors of pregnancy centers to understand is that you guys aren't in competition with them, for funds, right? And I could see sometimes there might be that confusion, like, well, I need to raise money for my center, right? I can't, invest in you guys. But by sharing your message, they're really investing in themselves, right? And like you guys said, all that money, every single cent of every dollar is going back to them. So it isn't a competition. Is that right? Is that how you guys see it?
Absolutely. And I think we could take that one step farther and say, if we have thousands of plates on the road leading women away from clinics that are going to encourage them to have an abortion, they're going to need someplace to go. So I think, if anything, it's going to bring more women into their resource centers looking for help.
That's a very good point.
So on a different topic, since this podcast will be going out to pregnancy clinic leadership across the country and pro-life leaders across the country. I'd like to try and speak a little bit about how this idea can apply to, well, it sounds like there were 38 states that have this Choose Life license plate. Is that right, Cindy? 38?
It's 33, and
Oh,
the
okay.
District of Columbia is what they have
Okay.
posted on the national website.
So I guess the encouragement would be for those who live in a state with a Choose Life license plate, you should go make sure all of your vehicles are using this opportunity to make this passive income for friendly local pregnancy clinics. And then also, yeah, and if you happen to be in one of the states that's getting one of these license plates, just know that your involvement is critical. And if you know anyone in Idaho, this might be a really good early Christmas gift, is to pay for their plate to be upgraded, and then you can give them the instructions in the check. That could be the creative new Christmas gift, or just like a way to maybe send them an email about how important this is, along with a link to this podcast. They can see the urgency, where we have months to make sure that pregnancy centers in Idaho are being supported with this opportunity that's going to hopefully be here for the long term. And you guys are getting 660 plates so far, with all the hurdles when it comes to the plates not on the wall, people having to come in person, and they can't they can't do it online, people being discouraged. And so in spite of all those hurdles, 660 people have still gotten the plates, and only 340 still need to get the plates. And so I feel like you guys are doing really well in spite of obstacles and roadblocks, which are definitely they're difficult, but at the same time, it just shows the passion that you and your support team are bringing here to keep going.
Yeah, and I will say this, recently, I mean, we've got some big momentum swing, right? I mean, so starting in late of August, early September, we've seen a big push. When I say big push, at least a 50-60% lift from the prior month in plate sales. So with Cindy's efforts, and then with some advertising we've done, we're seeing, if we can just maintain the pace, but there's an urgency here. If we can maintain the pace we've had in September, and now that we're in early October, we're going to cross the finish line. We'll get ahead of it, but we do need people to act on this.
That makes sense.
Is there anything else that you guys would like the audience to know, or anything to share?
Well, definitely visit our website. It's chooselifeidaho.org. I think there's some wonderful information there. And hit the donate button. We've self-funded the majority of this. We've had donations come in from people, which have been really helpful. And we need that to keep advertising so that we can get across the finish line. Like we said, 100% of what we receive from the sale of the plate, that will go to pregnancy resource centers. So we could use your help. And email me with questions. My email address is info@chooselifeidaho.org. And we're also on Facebook at Choose Life Idaho. Please like us. That helps. And share the posts that are there with your friends. I think it's a great way to spread the news. Get that positive word out there.
Well stated.
And I think it's awesome that you're updating the purchase a plate page every day. So if someone goes there tomorrow, they'll probably see, instead of it being 660 today, it'll have that new number. And as you get closer and closer, it's really cool that people can actually see where you are along this journey towards 1,000. So.
Yes, definitely. If I can put in a plug for irapture.com. Obviously, you developed our website for us. We're very happy with it. And we love the idea that you gave us on putting the updates on there every day. Wonderful.
Well, and we're just glad to be able to work alongside you and your team, because you're you're actually in a very similar role as to how we look at ourselves, because you're supporting the frontline heroes that are in Idaho. And that's often how we look at ourselves, as being like the support group, the technical support group to support frontline heroes as well. And so we actually, I think we're like sister companies when it comes to how we're helping in the pro-life world. So
Absolutely.
So for pregnancy clinic directors in Idaho, you should be on the Choose Life Idaho list in order to get a check from them based on the money being raised. Their heart is pouring out to help you, and you need to be on this list in order to get this passive income from the Choose Life Idaho plates. So please contact Cindy by emailing her at info@chooselifeidaho.org and get on the list as a pregnancy clinic in Idaho and start benefiting from this ongoing passive income fundraiser. And please also help spread the word so we can get to this 1,000 plates on the road by the end of the year. And so this is exciting. This is awesome. And it's a really good opportunity to help clinics, helping your clinic and other clinics raise funds to make all the communities in Idaho, essentially helping women across Idaho.